So hi guys, I'm here to tell you about this system. You described some possible solutions, why the system doesn't work in real time, and my plan was to disclose the solution in my next system trading magazine, but in this occasion I want to disclose it here now. This is the equity line 1 minute chart, and one of the objections was that we are actually looking into the future, so that low and high, we don't know what low and high are for next bar. This is not the solution, of course, because in reality we are not looking into the future at all. Multi-charts does not allow this kind of tricks. The meaning of the instruction is once one bar is completed and we are starting the next bar, we take high and low of the completed bar, and at those levels we place the orders. In fact, you see here we are not selling at the top, but we're selling at the same level of the high of this bar, or in this case buying at the low of this bar. This is what we are doing. So sometimes we get the top, but some other cases not. So we don't look into the future because high and low of the code are high and low of the last completed bar. So this is not the case to understand why the system cannot work in real time. The problem is somewhere else. And one other objection was, yes, but you are not including commissions or slippage. So to answer this is the 1 minute bar. Let's go, the 1 minute system. This is the 5 minute system, and here we have again, we are always around $2 million with this system without commission and slippage. This is the 15 minute system. Okay, so let's take the 15 minute first, and let's include commissions into the system. And here we go commission, properties. We include $5 round turn. Is this enough? I would say it's more than enough, because I am paying around 2.05, I believe, on Interactive Brokers on one side. So that would be a little bit more than $4. And $5 is just to cover other cases where you are paying something more. That said, we are selling and buying at a limit. We are not using stop or market orders. This means that we are not jumping levels, okay? So we don't, with limit orders, we don't have slippage in a certain sense. So the $5 are covering decently what we intend to do. And here is the 15 minute result, which is obviously much worse. This is clear, because we are leaving on the table about $750,000, you see here below, but we're still making a lot of money. And the equity line is still very nice. Okay, there are some points here which are not that clean, but it happened on several occasions and it always recovered fine. And you see here, year after year, the system is still making decent money. It takes a while because you know there are many trades. So you see, it's not the numbers we have seen before, but we're still collecting a lot of money. So this is the 15 minute, and if we look into the trade analysis, we can see that we have we're still an average trade of over $6. So theoretically, even paying more commission, we would stay inside this. The situation changes a little bit on a 5 minute chart, because here the original average trade was, I can't catch the report, sorry about that, okay, was a bit smaller, but we're still making money. You see, we are 5 something, so we are still good. the equity line is still beautiful, and we had about 2 million, now we have 1 million. We are leaving $950,000 on the table in the years starting 2015. So also in this case, we're still making a lot of money. Obviously, the first report was tricky considering the commissions I did not include, but including the commissions does not change the nature of the system. And also, if we have a look at the 1 minute results, which were those in only 1 year, you see 592 instead of 2 million, and here we have 1,300,000 left on the table because of the commissions, but the equity line is no longer regular as it was before, but it's still an equity line everybody would obviously like to have in his systems. So the point is not the commissions. That is not the problem of the system. The problem of the system is completely different, and I said we don't have, because of limit orders, slippage, but in reality we don't have the classic slippage. The slippage as we intended. You want to enter at 10 and you slip, you enter at 11. This is the concept of slippage that we normally have and we think about. But in this case, there is a different kind of slippage, and the different kind of slippage derives from the limit orders where we expect to be executed with no slippage, as said. But look at this. Sorry about this. This is too small now. Okay, so let's have a glance here inside. Oh. I don't know why this is okay. So as said, this is the last completed bar. We place we are short, so we place a buy order at the low of this bar. It's not reached. Then we place a limit order at the low of a new bar, and in this case we are executed. We place a sell order at the high of this bar, we executed, and then we place a limit buy at the bottom of the new bar here, and we are executed. But look at this, and also at this one. There are two cases here, and also this one, where we are executed exactly at the top or the bottom of the bar. It means we were so good to identify exactly where the market was stopping during that, in this case, minute. This is a 1 minute chart. We are great, yes, but if you look at the mid S&P 500, you see there are, at each level of the book, of the order book, hundreds of contracts. So, I have, let's imagine here, 2760 for example, I have to place a buy order at 2760 for the next minute. I place it, limit buy 2760, but obviously for the next minute, for no reason in the world, I will be the first on the list of buyers. There will be other contracts being placed before, sitting there waiting to be executed. And I'm queuing. So maybe I have 200 contracts in front of my single contract. Who is granting me that I'm executed? If also only one single contract of those 200 is executed, the chart is plotting that level as the low of a bar. But nobody is telling me that my contract will be executed. So these executions at the limit of the bars, at the bottom or at the top, are all executions which I cannot know if they really took place in real-time trading. I cannot know it, there is no way to know unless I test. But if you consider, especially on a very short time frame, that in 1 minute you must be sure that all the contracts in front of you and your contract as well will be executed, obviously you have not many odds at your favor. But in any case, this is not the biggest problem. On multi-charts, we can, and also in other software, okay, of course, we can go into backtesting and change the assumptions, saying that we consider the limit orders filled only if the level where we place them is exceeded by at least 1 point, 1 tick, okay? So doing so, we are sure that we would have been executed in that bar, because there have been trades also below that level in case of long entries, or above that level in case of short entries. With this condition, I want to show you how, in this case, the 1 minute chart changes. If I were able to, this is dramatic, believe me. Okay, okay, you see it. This includes commissions, as we said before, but also that condition that the fields are only in case the level is exceeded. Remember that if you did not put that, of course you are sure of executions only on losing trades, because in that case your level is traded through and you are certainly in the market. This is the equity line. I mean, this is self-explanatory. This thing is dramatic. On a monthly basis, this is the last year, because this was a 1 minute chart, you see we are we are losing everything, I would say. Okay, now you say, okay, Andrea, you said that this is on a 1 minute. What happens on a 5 minute bar? Because in that case, the situation might be different because there is more time and so on. Believe me, 5 minutes are still a very small time, but in any case, also if we include this commission on a 5 minute chart, we have exactly the same result. With this equity line, and the total trade analysis changes to -16 from about 5 something it was before. Year after year, we lose all our money. It takes a while because we are still many trades, even for less than before, but you see. And last but not least, we can go on a 15-minute chart and see what happens in this case. Again, nothing different from what we know. This is the equity line. This is not the real performance of a system, because also this assumption is extreme, because also this assumption is taking into consideration only those orders where the level had been certainly exceeded. So we can imagine that we could stay in the middle, 50% chance to be executed and 50% not, which is an assumption I'm making here. I don't know how true it might be, but that is something that we could imagine. But also in that case, if you make some math, you see that you are still not on the right side of the corner to make some money. So this is the sad real life, and I can tell you, you will probably go back and play with some tricks. One solution would be to insert marked if touched orders, which means as soon as the level is touched, you buy, okay? In this case, you can look it on a 1 minute chart with commissions, obviously. What happens? In this case, you are losing 1 tick entering the market and you are losing 1 tick exiting the market. Because when the level is touched, you send the market order and you are buying 1 tick worse. In this case, you are sure to enter the market, but losing 1 tick in entrance and you losing 1 tick exiting, you are losing $12.5 entering and $12.5 exiting, which is $25 round term. This is the performance for 1 minute. You have an average trade of 226. Now, if you lose 25 out of 226, you can easily calculate what the result will be of your system. You also remember that we had 6 something on a 15-minute bar, so we are still far from covering the 25 we could put on the table using this method. So this is obviously not something that works. I imagine you will go back testing what happens on a 30-minute bars. I've tested all of this. Believe me, there is no way to make this thing work. No way. Believe me, no way. But many people are using this trick to sell you something which does not work. This is an extreme case, but there are also other systems using limit orders on the mini S&P or on other very liquid markets such as T-bond, T-notes, etc., etc. And the limit orders execution is always a big question mark. If the average trade of the system could not cover a marked if touched entry, that system is scratch. You can throw it into the waste paper. It does not work. Believe me, there are more gurus out there trying to sell you something that does not really work when you put it live on your charts. That's it. I hope you got it, and I saw that I saw a lot of interest in this point, so I will probably put some more questions in the future about other systems or tricks or general technical issues that might happen when you trade live. Good luck, guys, and subscribe, comment. See you next time. Enjoyed it? Click the link below and you will be noticed as soon as new material is available.